Becoming a faster driver can be a daunting endeavour, especially when you're a beginner to sim racing. Between knowing what driving techniques to use for any given corner, right down to what assists to use, it can get very confusing very quickly. But fear not, we are here to help. So today we're going to dive into the all-new F1 24 game and how you can get started. So first things first, we need to talk about what assists you use. Number one thing is ensure your braking and steering assists are turned off. These are not driving assists in the conventional sense, but accessibility options instead. Keeping them on will simply slow you down. Next is ABS. ABS, or anti-lock brakes, prevents the wheel from locking up and braking by releasing pressure when the tyres get overloaded. We'd recommend keeping it on, as it would be better to gain confidence in the car's brakes as you're still learning. Whether you turn it off at a later date, especially in the F1 games, is a personal choice, as it's not always going to be at an advantage. Now onto traction control. This prevents the wheels spinning and you losing control of the car by limiting the throttle when your tyres are about to break traction. Having it fully on, especially while you're still learning, will be good to ensure you keep pointing in the correct direction, but it likely won't teach you anything about throttle control in particular, so turn it to medium at least. This will allow you to learn throttle techniques such as modulation, and while you may find yourself facing backwards a fair bit initially, it will benefit you as you learn car control. You can of course always turn it off completely, but if you're a beginner, this will likely not go too well, so pace yourself and turn it off when you start to feel the traction control is beginning to hinder your performance. Now, whether or not you have an automatic gearbox is up to you, but if you're new to sim racing, using automatic gears will give you one less thing to think about, and therefore you can focus on learning the track, braking points and how the car handles. Later down the line, choosing manual gears allows you to learn more car control. Additionally, tracks like Monaco are heavily reliant on mechanical grip, and having full control over gears will help you maximise your performance in these circumstances. Finally, on the assists, you have the suggested line. This is a personal preference. Having it on allows you to learn the track quicker, having it off means you can spot reference points on the track to rely on instead of relying on the line. We'd recommend turning it off, as you can learn to look for those reference points now and save you the trouble at a later stage. So we now have our assists, let's jump out on track. If you're virtually brand new to sim racing or racing games in general, don't expect to just jump in and be perfect straight away. So it's better to practice. Thankfully, F1 24 has plenty of ways to teach you with features like Career Mode, F1 World, Time Trial and more. But to start with, use the offline practice sessions to hone your skills, learn how the cars handle, learn the tracks and start to pick up the pace at your own speed. Once you get more confident and want to get ready for racing, this is where the fun really begins. So you could just jump into a race and hope for the best, but this is motorsport, and hoping for the best rarely ends well. So alternatively, you can use Track Titan to see how you can improve. Track Titan is the fastest way to improve as a sim racer and has helped tens of thousands of drivers get faster already. By recording your sessions using the Track Titan desktop app, you can review your data and compare against other drivers around the world to see where you can improve. Sign up with the code F124 to get 30 days of unlimited data insights and smart suggestions based on your individual driving. Now, we've already mentioned about braking reference points, but I cannot stress this enough. Even if you do have the racing line on, learning reference points on the circuit will help you massively. Whether it be braking boards, a change in track surface, or just a little side road, knowing your braking point using references around the track will make your life infinitely easier. So keep a lookout for these references around the track during practice, so you can brake consistently every single time. If you're unsure of where the optimal braking point is, just check Track Titan. We can see here that I may have been braking a little too early, so now that I know, I can brake a little bit later on my next session. Now, I know by this point you're all screaming to start racing, so you've got your assists, you've learned the tracks, and you've checked your telemetry. It's time to jump into a race. Ideally, you want to start with AI racing, as this will give you a risk-free route to racing competitively. There are no consequences when racing against AI, so if you make a mistake, it's only a computer whose race you're ruining. This will teach you racecraft, where the passing opportunities tend to come, and this will also teach you the often unpredictability of other drivers. Unfortunately though, the AIs rarely act like real drivers, and so there is only so much you can learn from them. Once you have got through these beginner steps, there is no reason you aren't ready to jump online and play against your friends or strangers from around the world. Just please, for the sake of everyone, don't go online until you can keep the car on track safely. So these are just some of the beginner tips you can use to help you get better at F1 24. Don't forget, you can get 30 days of the limited data insights for free, but more than that, you can also review your favourite F1 drivers' real-world session data, keep up to date with all the motorsport news you could ever want, and you can even find setups for your racing too. It's everything you need in one place, so sign up today with the code F124. So thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something and can take it forwards with your own sim racing, but until next time, drive safe and race with respect.